Hey, guys. My name is Nick. This is Roll Coverage. Today, I have a very, very special person here, the
Yeah.
founder of Common Sense Picks. I got him right here. I finally was able to get my setup working, and he is in the house. We're going to talk sports and, of course, some Common Sense Picks. So, welcome, man.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Absolutely, man. It's great to have you here. I'm super excited for this. I know we previously tried to record this, and my audio bugged out. So, this is take number two. But regardless, I'm really, really happy to have you here. You obviously said that the morning is going crazy. Mine too. I probably woke up about 25, 30 minutes ago, hopped in the shower, and then my alarm went off, and I was like, oh no. So I had to get everything all together. But we are here now. But let's just kick it off. Everybody already kind of knows that I'm a Carolina Panthers fan. I'm a Charlotte everything fan. I should have freaking bet that the Hornets would win the Summer League championship, but of course I didn't because I am a Hornets fan. I'm grinded down to the idea that my team is never going to win a championship, even if it's the Summer League. So let's get into it. What are your teams, and what exactly got you started and wanting to get into Common Sense Picks?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up like probably most people listening to, just as a sports fan, sports fanatic, at different times in the
Absolutely.
life. It was a little bit of a job. I did some sports writing years ago, and the sports picks has just kind of been it's been a hobby for a long time, right? A hobby that you hopefully make a little bit of money on.
Absolutely.
Um, but but probably about it's really only been I think 6 to 9 months where I started thinking about, hey, let's put myself out there a little bit and let's start posting some pics. And there really wasn't much of a goal. It was just kind of see where it goes, and it's gone well. I think it's been the community's been welcoming. We've had some success. It's I've met some good people. We've had a lot of fun, and it's just been good. Um, yeah, I mean, I grew up a sports fan in South Florida,
Oh, there you go.
and
Me too.
that comes with good and bad.
Yep. I
Um,
I grew
you
up in the
know,
Bradenton, Sarasota area, so I absolutely
yeah,
understand. I mean, we were more central, but still.
yeah. I've been watching Dolphins games since I was about 4 years old, and it's that's definitely the passion,
Yep.
and the rest of it just kind of spins off that.
Absolutely. And of course, with betting, you got to be big into baseball. So, who's your team in baseball?
So I grew up rooting for most of the South Florida teams.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was a Marlins fan when it was the Florida Marlins,
Heck yeah.
and I've been to a few World Series games. It's a strange existence down there for
That
that team.
that's crazy. That's awesome though. Like that's one of the things that's absolutely on my bucket list is to get to a World Series game,
Yeah,
regardless of what team it's for. To be honest with you, because I'm a Pirates fan, so the chances of me seeing the Pirates go to a World Series are pretty slim. But yeah, that's one of the ones. Man, that's awesome. And being a Dolphins fan this year has got to be tough with the news that Tua might not be long for the Dolphins. Mike
yeah.
McDaniel might not be long for the Dolphins. Ooh,
I think it's been that tortured existence, that you mentioned as a Hornets fan.
yep.
I think it's existed to some extent as a Dolphins fan, with the difference being that it wasn't always like that, right? It's,
Absolutely. Yeah,
it's
you guys
so
had Marino. You guys had the
yeah,
golden years.
right.
And even
And
now,
that's I
I feel like
that
you
was
guys are
my
so
childhood,
close.
right? And, yeah.
Yeah,
And I think like most sports fans, you don't appreciate it till it's gone.
absolutely.
We were getting eliminated in divisional round and the AFC Championship game, and you hated it. And
Absolutely.
now you would give almost anything to be watching those games at this point with a rooting interest.
Oh yeah, it's the same thing with the Patriots fans now. They went for so
Yeah,
long with Tom Brady. The Buffalo Bills fans had four straight Super Bowls at one point, and now they can't even get back to one.
yeah,
The Bengals made it to a Super Bowl, probably never to get back to one. Like it's crazy the amount of quarterbacks and teams that will get there, maybe
yeah,
once or twice, and then never ever get
yeah,
back, regardless of the pieces you put around them. I mean,
yeah.
go to your Dolphins. We're talking about a team
It
with
takes.
Tyreek Hill,
Yeah,
Achan. We're talking about. I mean, the offensive line. You guys got. Oh God, the Hawaiian kid whose name escapes me. But anyways, he's going to be
yeah.
amazing. Obviously Tyreek's on the end. Waddle. I mean, you guys have really great pieces. It's just that quarterback piece that like I wish we could clone Dan Marino and put him there. I feel like he could win a Super Bowl with this team.
I think he could, and quite frankly, Tua on his 75% days could probably win a Super Bowl with this team. The problem is the rest of the days,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's
And that's kind of the same thing. Like, okay, this is a perfect transition for this. You have an Alabama quarterback in Tua, and my parent Panthers have Bryce Young.
yep,
Like, we have the guys that should be able to get it done. They were in a fantastic room in Alabama, learned from one of the best, but it seems like they always had that upper echelon of talent in college, whereas when
yep,
they get to the NFL, you don't have that anymore. So as much as I want to believe in, say, for example, my quarterback Bryce Young, his best game came after 2 full seasons. Well,
yeah,
almost a second full season. He did get benched for 2 or 3 games, but like all of that for him to finally get to a game and like he, don't get me wrong, 3 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, but that's by far that's the height of his career. Whereas Tua has at least had games where he's been able to
yep,
go out there and distribute the ball and everything like that. And obviously, they're going to get the criticism of, oh, just give it to Tyreek and he does everything. Yeah, there's times where he wasn't in it, or times where he just didn't get the ball at the clip that he wanted, and you guys were still able to win. So I feel like Tua has something more, but that concussion thing worries me.
it's scary,
It
right?
really
It's
is.
scary. It's scary at at a fan level, and it's scary at a personal level because it's just not your head's not supposed to take that
Exactly.
for that many times. Yeah, no, there's a lot of similarities between the two. I think they both walked into organizations that um, coaching staffs that didn't
Yep.
early on, and Tua definitely had that, with Brian Flores early on, where it was he was there,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And I think we get spoiled with that select few quarterbacks who come in on day one and have it all figured out.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
and it's not the norm. It hasn't been the norm throughout history.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you for finally saying
yeah,
that.
especially when you bring in, when you're a high draft pick, chances are you're going somewhere that's not very good, or
Exactly.
at least has had a lot of struggles, especially at the quarterback position, because no one's drafting the quarterback who has one. And if you
Exactly.
haven't, you're not very good.
Yeah, and that's the thing where I feel like so many teams are messing up. Like we constantly see like Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow shows up, he's got Jamar Chase and they're able to win, rattle off 10 games. That's great if you have an absolutely stellar offense that you know is going to be together for years on end and you're not going to have to break the bank to keep them together. Whereas you go to somebody like the 49ers, the 49ers were able to insert the Mr. Irrelevant into a setup, and he was able to at least get them back to a Super Bowl more than once. Like they are a crazy good team, and the idea that building a team now is just drop the quarterback in, that makes no sense. If I was Carolina last year, or like when we went to go get Bryce, I mean, I was a Stroud guy, so that's a completely separate argument. But the draft after that, I wouldn't have taken Xavier. I would have built the offensive line. I would have done all this other stuff. Because if Bryce can't get it done, then I'm back in the situation that I was in previously, except now I have no draft capital.
Yeah.
So, and not just that, but I feel like teams constantly address the need of 2024, 2025, and never look to next year. Like Carolina was like, we need an offensive firepower. We need defense. So that's what we did. But now we're looking at the offensive line going, oh, well, if our quarterback's going to be here another few years, we need to get a center, which was probably something we should have gotten in the draft. Like we should have gotten this, we should have gotten that, and all that other stuff. So it's such an odd way to build that it's just here, quarterback, go fix it all. And you're right, very few guys. There's maybe a Patrick Mahomes, maybe a Josh Allen or a Lamar that can fix that. Nobody else can.
No, absolutely. And a lot of it is, I mean, this isn't news, right? But a lot of it is if your general manager and your coach only have a year to prove
Yep,
themselves, then the solution at quarterback has to be a short-term solution.
correct.
And that's difficult too.
Yeah, that's what New York is dealing with now with Jackson Dart. I mean, the reports are at a training camp that he's already thrown multiple interceptions. So there's so much to go around that, like with everything. And yeah,
Yeah.
I wish that more teams built the right way, which is from the inside out, and then ignored the quarterback until you absolutely needed one. Like you
Sure.
could have absolutely band-aided it and done it with Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson, all these other guys, and still been a competent team while adding pieces around. This way, if it gets down the line and Wilson's too old or Tua gets concussed or something like that, you're like, oh, cool, I had this Quinn Ewers just chilling here in the back, like, which is somebody I really believe could do something for Miami.
I think if you can stay healthy and you can distribute the football, in that Dolphins offense, you're going to be okay.
Yep,
Now, there's a lot of other things that have to happen, obviously,
of course.
but I think I think people, Tua he's had a lot of ups and downs. I also think he gets a bad rap at times. I mean, when he's in there, he's a pretty good quarterback.
Absolutely, and he's one of the most accurate. Like
Yeah,
he's got a beautiful ball that he's able to throw.
yeah,
He doesn't have a crazy deep ball, but
yeah.
very few quarterbacks do, and to be honest, they don't use it all the time. So it's kind of a
Right.
lost skill at this point. He was able to accurately get the ball there on a consistent basis, run screens, and everything like that. Yeah, the health is literally my only concern.
Yeah.
If he could mitigate that, I truly feel like he would be a consistently top five, or not top five, top 15 quarterback, even without a Tyreek Hill, because I do think Tyreek Hill is very short for this team.
Absolutely. And the hard part is, I think, with his health is it's not a case of it's not a case of Jaden Daniels running all over the field. He
Exactly.
doesn't do that. He's not a running quarterback. The hits he's taken
Or
are
just
hits he's taken in the pocket and just slightly outside the pocket. So it's not like you can tell him don't do this. You got to do that as quarterback.
exactly, but that's why I feel like I couldn't remember the guy's name, so I had to look it
Yeah.
up. But you guys got the 37th pick, Jonah Savagnia, the kid out of Arizona. I only knew that because obviously I looked this up this time, but when I looked at him up previously, I really wanted him for Carolina because I truly believe he's one of the top 5 offensive linemen from the draft. And I really feel like you guys got somebody that's going to be able to help him out long term. Obviously, my Panthers took Robert Hunt from you guys, so sorry about that. But you guys, to be honest, I would rather have Jonah as a rookie now than
Yeah.
where my team is with Robert Hunt. So I feel like you guys made the best long term decision for Tua because Tua's going to need guys that grow with him. And Robert Hunt's already 27 going on 28. So that's not really close to Tua's age.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's, if there's a theme this year, as it has been the last couple of years, it's keep him upright.
Exactly.
Because if you can do that, there's a chance you're going to win enough games to make some noise.
Plus, one final thought on your Dolphins, man. You guys have a sneaky running back. Of course, you've got A-Chan and everything like that, but you guys have a running back who, if you would have told me a year ago he was going to be the number one running back off the board, I would have said yes, and that's Ollie Gordon. And now you guys had Ollie Gordon to the back too. I'm like, no offense, I think that these two together could be crazy annoying to teams.
I think, it's obvious it's not going to be a, grind and pound football team,
Yep.
and that's not what they're made for. And I think pretending you're that when you're not isn't going to help anyone. But yeah, I mean, if you've got to worry about Hill and Waddle on the outside, and you sneak some runs in on 2nd and 5, and 2nd and 6, there's going to be some gaps.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I feel like this is really the year where people are going to test the Dolphins. I really feel like it's the Dolphins or the Patriots last in the division. I'm probably going to go Patriots last in the division just because I don't believe in Drake May. I believe in Tua more than I believe in Drake May. But yeah, the ability to have both Ollie Gordon and A-Chan, and of course, screen passes to them, screen passes to Waddle, Hill, the whole shebang. It's absolutely going to be amazing. I'm all here for it. But regardless, I just kind of wanted to give you some time to kind of talk about some of your upcoming picks. Obviously, there's a lot of opportunity coming up. The teams are in the leagues are coming back. Obviously, we have the NBA just finishing up summer league. We're getting ready to head into the basically preseason and everything like that. We have the NFL coming back in 4 or 5 weeks.
No.
So I'm going to give you the floor and tell me any of the ones that you're just kind of looking at. You don't have to give me your official picks if you don't want to, but anything that you're interested in talking about, I'm here to listen to.
No, I think it's definitely football futures
Heck yeah.
time. I think there's a surprising couple of, I think, value options for division winners.
Really?
And I think Kansas City at 110 to win that division is not. I know the rest of the divisions improved,
Yeah.
but until someone beats them, I think that's worth going back to. There's a little bit of juice on Baltimore, but 160. I'm not sold that Pittsburgh
Yep.
is has the answers there. Cincinnati, obviously, the great offense, but I don't know that they're going to have enough to stop anyone. So I think that those are two options, and honestly, it's probably not a bad value to parlay them, and there's a good chance that those two teams come out on top of the division.
I'm 100% on board with that. To be honest, I'm bullish on the Chiefs to a level. I think that they are going to be really good, and I agree with you. It's their division to lose.
Yep.
As much as I want to believe in the Chargers, they're always going to Charger. The
Yeah.
Broncos, I really love the Broncos. I just moved from Colorado a few months ago. I believe in them. I believed in Bo Nix early in the draft. I love Sean Payton. I don't know about you guys beating the Chiefs now. Maybe the Chiefs next year or 2 years down the road, they could be division winners. But if they were to sneak it out, that would be the only one that I could see maybe beating them is the Broncos. But if that's the case, we're talking about a historic collapse by the Chiefs.
Yeah. And I think you could get the Chargers to miss the playoffs at plus 110 right now, and that's on my list because unless you believe three teams are going to make the playoffs from that division, that's a tough sell to me. I think Denver's better than the Chargers right now. You look at the Chargers skill positions, it doesn't exactly blow you away.
Nope. Yeah, you're really hoping that Ladd breaks out, and you're really hoping that the rookie Trey Harris is able to contribute at a high level because Mike Williams retired.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm 100% agree with you on that. Man, I didn't think about them missing the playoffs. But yeah, to be honest, at this point, I would put them at like 9-8.
Yeah. And they're going to have to play those 2 games against Kansas City, obviously the 2 games against Denver.
Yep.
And it's not crazy to think, Vegas gets one against them.
Exactly.
They're 2. And so they could find themselves with less wins than I think a lot of people think right now.
I'm not gonna lie, I might have to tail both of these because I have to agree with you, especially when you talk about the Kansas City side, and that's without even talking about the Baltimore side. My wife's a diehard Baltimore fan, so of course I'm gonna hype them up. But realistically, they are, in my opinion, the best team in football. I mean, unless you want to argue the Eagles, but even then, like, Baltimore has, in my opinion, a better quarterback, a better running back, probably like their wide receivers better just because of their depth. Tight end, I definitely like better. I don't know. Offensive line, I think I would give to the Eagles. Defensive line, I would give to the Eagles. Secondary, I'm giving to the Ravens, and they got Jair now and all that other. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that. That's a good one. And yeah, I don't believe in the Steelers. I don't think Rodgers can put it together. I mean, we saw his early training camp video. First play, he threw an interception, as a lot of these guys did. The Browns are gonna Brown at this point. I mean, the only way I can see them pushing past that is somehow starting Shadur Sanders or something like that, and I think he's their best quarterback on their roster, which is still a very low bar. So
I mean, the Browns might be the only team that voluntarily made their quarterback room worse.
yeah, and like even if they want to start Dylan Gabriel, I'd rather you guys start Dylan Gabriel over Deshaun for one, which I don't even think he's getting the nod at this point. I think it's Flacco. So I love Flacco. Again, former Ravens fan with my wife and everything like that. Like, I think that they're great, but I don't know about the rest of it, especially with their draft pick. Like, you guys passed on Travis Hunter, traded back, ended up they got Mason Graham. So, I mean, that's good to stop the run, but I just don't see it. I don't see it, especially in that division.
No, I think it's going to be same old, and that's kind of where they're going to be, and they can be they'll have the same quarterback conversation next year.
Exactly. If not, they're going to add another one, which is going to keep making it crazier. But I just don't understand, especially then you go to the Bengals in division. I mean, the Bengals don't want to pay Trey Harris. They don't want to pay. I always mess up this kid's name. It's not Shamar Stewart. Shamar Turner, I think, is his name. So Shamar Stewart's the kid from Dallas. Yep. So yeah, they have all of that going as well with one of the worst defenses in the NFL last year. Gave up insane points. I think the statistic was Burrow lost like 5 or 6 games when he scored more than 38 freaking points. Like, that's crazy.
Well, it's crazy. That reminds me, we were talking about the Marino years.
Yep.
I mean, that's what it was.
Yep.
It was
shootouts every night.
you would lose games when you were scoring points in the 30s and 40s, and you look back and you really do look back and say, what a wasted opportunity, because if you have any sort of defense, you've probably got multiple rings at that point. So.
Exactly. And I've seen all these crazy ones where, of course, people are already mocking the 2026 draft and all this other stuff. I saw one the other day where the Bengals ended up with Jeremiah Smith, the kid out of Ohio State. I'm like, oh yeah, so they get Jamar Stewart and the number one wide receiver in the thing. Oh yeah, they're still going to lose, but man, that's going to be a crazy fantasy team for 2 or 3 years under Joe Burrow. It just blows my mind. That again goes back to what we were talking about, like building teams the right way. Teams just aren't doing it, and I don't understand with all of the statistics that we have now with sports betting. To be honest, sports betting gives such a big insight into what teams are doing and what they're thinking of. Obviously, there's some times where it's just blatantly wrong, but most of the time that's because it's influenced by injuries and everything like that. Like, I like the futures bets here. I like both Baltimore and Kansas City, especially as much as I hate to say this. Travis Kelce might actually have a pretty decent year.
If they get that receiver group healthy, and it looks like it, right? Well, healthy or out of jail.
Exactly.
Then I think then they're that'll definitely open up things for him, and I mean, all the pop culture hype aside, if you give him one-on-one coverage, down the middle of the field, he's going to make some plays.
Absolutely, and that it's such a weird scenario there too, with Rasheed out 30 days, whenever that 30 days is going to go up, and they still have Xavier Worthy. They just went and got Royals, who I really like for that squad. And even the backup tight end, Noah Gray, I think he could be really awesome. And again, if they take my advice and go and trade for Kyle Pitts, then hey, you have the future Travis Kelce there. But I don't know. I'm not going to lie. I have to resign myself to, I'm probably tailing that bet, man.
Well, if a little bit of a long shot, I don't know. If I had to bet my life on it, I wouldn't. But Chiefs to have the most regular season wins is about 750. And no, I mean you get one or two games go the right way, and they certainly could end up with that.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts about maybe the Niners taking that away with their number one worst schedule in the NFL?
I think that's a possibility. I mean, but I think it's going to be very interesting to see Brock Purdy without the weapons that Brock Purdy has had.
Yeah,
and that's assuming
no Ayuk,
McCaffrey's healthy, right?
Yeah, wow. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, they didn't really add anybody. There's still some guys in free agency that I could see them going and getting. We still have Keenan Allen out there, Amari Cooper. So there's maybe a few pieces, but yeah, you're right. And at that point, I'm assuming they're going to lean so heavily on Christian McCaffrey. Oh, geez, it's going to be another 10-win 49ers team that doesn't do anything.
Assuming he's healthy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It gets a little scary if he gets hurt the second week of the season, which it gets a little. I think it gets a little bit scarier for them too.
Well, not just that. I'm pulling up their depth chart real quick. I'm trying to think about who their backup quarterback. Oh, that's right. It's Mac Jones and Curtis Rourke. Don't get me wrong. I like them both. Last year, I was able to take a 32-team fantasy team. Whoa, that's a lot of words. But I was able to take that with Aaron Rodgers and Mac Jones and go to the Super Bowl. So I think that there's some validity there, especially if Brock Purdy gets hurt. Mac Jones is the guy that, what's his name, Shanahan wanted originally. God, if they just paid Brock Purdy to then replace him with Mac Jones, I would laugh my ass off. That would be amazing. Or even Curtis Rourke, the kid from, what was it, Indiana or something like that?
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah, Chiefs most wins. Ooh, the only one that I think might be able to challenge that would be Baltimore.
I think Baltimore's got a good shot. I think they get the gift of 2 games against Cleveland.
Yep.
That Pittsburgh, like we've been saying, that those Pittsburgh matchups, they should be heavily favored in. Looking at it from the beginning of the season point of view. So yeah, I think there's a real shot there.
I agree. And yeah, the Steelers are, well, I don't know, the geriatric home of the NFL right now, it feels like. As much as I really want them to do really well, I feel like they did overpay TJ Watt. as much as I love TJ Watt up until this point right now. Like he is, I'm 100% down. You could add him to any team and he would make them better. Even now, he would still make teams better. But at 40 plus million, that's a big chunk of the money. And at this point, with what Philly showed us last year, go out there, draft guys that have played together, draft them constantly. So this way you have the guys that have played together in college for 2 or 3 years. They already have the chemistry, and we don't have to pay them. And then just roll them out there, and they're able to go do it. So I personally have had the idea that one of these days, teams will eventually like pseudo partner with schools and just eventually just go after all those kids, regardless of what's coming out.
Absolutely. I think there's teams right now who they just buy into the culture of certain schools, right? You see certain teams with a ton of Nick Saban players on them, right? I don't know if that'll continue in the future, but certainly the Nick Saban players, there are teams who go after them. And you get that with some other schools as well.
Yeah, like Georgia and the Eagles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and even now, like they went and got, what was it, Nakobe Dean, was it last year? And then they go back in the draft again to get another linebacker in Jihad. Like they are just saying, hey, it doesn't matter. We'll just put all those guys out there and they will figure it out. So, I mean, I love that philosophy, especially for building long-term with young quarterbacks. Obviously, they have Hurts now, but I'm pretty sure their backup in Philly is a rookie as well. Can't remember his name, but they have some interesting ones. I'm pulling it up right now. Tanner McKee, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I'm thinking of Kyle McCord.
Yep.
So I think, again, even if it came down to him, 22-year-old out of Syracuse, obviously I wouldn't start DTR over him. Tanner McKee, I'm not a big fan of. So, again, it's Jalen Hurts' world, and we're all living in it, basically. But if they ever have to go to somebody else, they really do have the backup to be able to execute that offense. Because, no offense, Hurts isn't asked to be a 350-yard passer every game. He has one of the most insane Super Bowl performances where he lost. And then to win it with considerably less stats was just crazy to me. But again, it's building that winning defensive culture.
You have to have a certain personality when you're surrounded by those stars, right? And I think that Hurts has that. Ironically, we've talked about Tua. I actually think Tua has it.
I agree.
Neither one. Both of them come from Nick Saban systems Hurts to a degree, right? And so but you let those other guys kind of star, and you're looking to distribute, and if you're winning, that's all you're going to be asked to do.
Exactly. And to be honest, I feel like Tua still has a future in the NFL, even if it's not in Miami. And I don't mean that in a negative way.
Yeah.
Like you guys would be like, oh my God, he sucks, he needs to go. I think there could be a point where if you guys decide to jettison Mike McDaniels and then next year he comes in, he doesn't like the coaching staff and everything, that he's like, trade. Just be done with this, trade me for whatever. And I do think you guys could get a first-round pick for it for sure. It'd probably be a future one, but I do believe in Tua. Like I said, my only concern is the health. But with how you guys are rebuilding the offensive line and retooling the offense, I think it's going to work out well. And I think there could be a scenario where he is without Tyreek Hill this year. Trade deadline, of course.
People, I think it's forgotten how hard it is to be a starting quarterback in Miami. And in that part, it's been 20 something years, but it doesn't go away. Yep. Right? You drive down Dan Marino Boulevard to get to the practice facility, right? You're surrounded by it, and the relationship Marino had with the community was different.
Yep.
And it's and the folks who are spending the money are the folks who were still remembering those years. Those are the people, right, bringing their kids to the game and who remember. So it is different, and it happens in Denver. Certainly happens in San Francisco. I mean, there's places where you will never escape that memory.
Yep.
Unless you win a championship, and that's a pretty high threshold.
It truly is. There's so many quarterbacks that we go back and look at. We're like, oh my God, Marino being probably numero uno, where it's like, how did he not get one? And it's just the time that you were there, your location. I truly feel that fit matters more than anything else. So if Tua was a Bronco right now, he'd probably be favored to win the division with Sean Payton and everybody else. But it's tough. You're right. Miami is one of those places that, yes, it has winning culture. It has all of that stuff. But it also has very limited sales tax, so it attracts everybody. And not only that, but there's other things to do in Miami besides football. Like, yes, I would love to be a player in Miami, but I'd probably never be doing football stuff in the off season. It would be everything but that. I'd be at the beach doing everything, and that's the thing that has always been the trope about LA. Oh, the Dodgers is the only team that cares about anything because when you're in LA, there's a million and one other things to do. I don't have to sit here and go to a baseball game or a football game or whatever. So yeah, I absolutely feel that one 100%, and that's always been the drawback of Miami. Like even years ago when the Giants went to Miami on a boat trip, that was like, oh my God, I can't believe you guys did that. Don't get me wrong, it absolutely sunk them in the playoffs. But that's Miami. That's what Miami's for. It's the same thing with Vegas.
Yep.
Vegas doesn't have the maybe crazy stuff to do. It's all gambling and everything like that. And once you get to a certain point, gambling is boring. But it's one of those things that it's got to be tough, especially to pull free agents, get them to stay there and everything without just dumping a bag on them.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
But regardless, I'm going to kick it off to our final segment where I'm going to have you talk about the future of Common Sense Picks, and then we're going to have you close out with anything else you want to talk about. I know that we've only got a few more minutes, so we'll make it nice and easy, and I'll give you the last 5 minutes for basically you to talk all about CSP and everything because I want to make sure that everybody heads your way.
Yeah, and, we're going to keep trying to do what we've been doing. It's been a successful run. The last couple of months have been great.
Heck yeah.
We actually kind of pushed back our subscription service, and everything's free right now.
Good, even better.
Everything's being posted online. Honestly, I'd like to say it's just me being selfless, but life got crazy, and I just decided it was easier to do that.
I understand that.
It was easier to do that than worry about the subscription service right now. I do think we'll go back at some point, but right now, every play every day is posted on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and so we do some fun stuff. We have some crazy long shot parlays as well. You see some interaction with the community, so it's a fun time. And we've like I said, we've had some success, so that's the plan. Gonna keep it going.
Heck yeah, man. Are you excited for any futures coming up or any sports coming up outside of football?
I'm excited to get out of the slow time.
Yes, I 100% agree.
I was involved in a couple tournaments over, that happened to fall around the Major League Baseball All-Star break, and I've never bet so much tennis in my life.
Yep, that's mine, man. I fall into that trap. I'll end up betting tennis, ping pong. Yeah. I always tell the story that one time when I was working, I sat on the floor of a sales floor with my boss, and we were both betting Russian ping pong at 9 o'clock in the morning. Everyone's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm watching some random guy in a concrete basement play ping pong. And they're like, oh my God, you're a degenerate gambler. I'm like, I have $1 on this game. It's not about like blowing the bank. It's just about the competitiveness.
Right.
So I absolutely feel that, man. And yeah, tennis is a way to go, especially because tennis is played basically all year. I mean, there's always some sort of weird tournament going on somewhere, whether or not it's an open or something. So I absolutely feel that. I used to work for a tennis coach, Nick Bollettieri.
Yep.
Yeah, down at IMG. So I absolutely know him. My dad was his private chef for like 10 years. So I've been around tennis a very long time. I just suck at it.
No, the tough thing is when you're trying some, the amount of tennis I've played in terms of picks over the last few months is definitely more than it has been in the past, but you have to try and fit it into your system as well. And that's a neat trick at times, but yeah, I think we had a run. I want to say we had a run that overlapped the All-Star break where we hit about 11 straight tennis picks. So
I remember that. Yeah, you guys were hitting them every day, basically.
Yeah. So not high volume every day, on the tennis picks, but I try and get 1 or 2 in there when it makes sense.
Absolutely, yeah. Because if you're just one of those people that bets on everything, like it just becomes a pain, and it's impossible to do that. Like I tried that previously, where it's just like, oh, there's 10 tennis matches, I need to do a parlay with all 10 of them in it. The chances of you hitting all 10 are astronomical. So it's one of those things. Yeah, you're right. Just pick 1 or 2 and be done with it, because just throwing everything at the wall does not work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to first say I appreciate you coming out. I know I've got about 2 minutes left on this to make it nice and easy, but I just want to say thank you. I love the
Absolutely.
picks that you put out. I tail them all the time, most of the time just for $1. But hey, it's being out there and everything like that. I'm excited to see what you're going to do this season, futures and all. I'm definitely tailing Baltimore, Kansas City together. So if that cashes, we're definitely gonna have to do something together. I'll have to come down to Florida. We'll go get a beer.
There
But
you go.
uh, but yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited. Obviously, we're gonna have to check back in with you during the season, see how everything is going. Just want to make sure that you can plug everything. Is it at Common Sense Picks on everything?
On Twitter is actually Common Sense Picks at Best Picks for You.
Yep, best picks for you. Okay,
Um, so yeah, that's always a little bit confusing because obviously Common Sense was not available as
of course.
as a name. So
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I was about to say if you got
yeah,
that one clutch.
yeah.
But yeah, at best picks for you on Twitter. Make sure you guys go follow them, and hopefully you guys have a great rest of the day. Peace.
All right, thank you.